Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the TagoIO 2024 webinar series. We got a good one for you today. Building scalable IoT applications. I have Tiago here as well. I'll introduce him in a minute, but we are asked this question all the time as customer success managers here at Tago. A couple notes before we start. You'll notice that there is a chat. We also put a sticky note in the chat for where you could follow us on LinkedIn. We post a lot of great information on LinkedIn. If you want to track what events we're going to, what new features are coming out, webinars that are coming, just all kinds of plethora of information for you there. So I highly recommend that you follow our page on LinkedIn. Throughout the webinar, keep an eye on chat because we'll be posting some information there. One of the things to note too, which we'll post this as well here in a minute, is that you can sign up for a free account, and it's not a trial period. You could have your free account forever at TagoIO. So that's a very important note there. And Tiago will be going through all kinds of different things that will really help you launch and inspire you on your application. So with that, as I mentioned, I'm David Hall, Customer Success Manager here at Tago, and I also have Tiago Lima, which is also a Customer Success Manager here at Tago. For our topic today, for the agenda, as I said, Tiago and myself are asked all the time. We're asked a lot of different things. We talk to people all over the world, and scaling the application is right up there at the top. People want to make sure that they can scale with Tago and that it has all the tools around it to do that. That's what we'll be discussing today. So we're going to do platform introduction, dashboard templates, really popular, by the way, the templates, device integration, resources and documentation. We have a really cool live practice for you that Tiago will be doing. And then post your questions in the chat. We'll get to those as soon as we can. And if for any reason, we do not get to your question, you can always email us or just ask for a demo through the site. And Tiago, it's going to be one of us that's going to do that demo for you. So what is Tago, right? I mean, when people think of Tago, I get asked all the time, well, it's just visualization. And really, it's not. It goes well beyond IoT visualization. It's really actionable data. It's analytics that we'll talk about a little bit. It's, actionable data. What is that, right? Well, that can be automated or that can be in the human form, right? Through Tago, you can get an alert that there might be a leak in a building or an alert for anything, really. Or it could just be an informational alert. Like, hey, my grain bin is empty, and it automatically sends an alert over to the trucking company to fill your grain bin. Just kind of instances like that, but it really goes beyond IoT. With our integrations, we take security very serious here at Tago. We are ISO 27001 compliant, GDPR. We have servers in different parts of the world and things like that. So when I talk about Tago to customers, I let them know that it goes way beyond visualization, right? You could have your own branding. There's lots of things to do there. And really, our goal is to inspire you to build and scale your application with Tago. It's very easy to do. We've made it very easy. We put a lot of time and effort into that. A little bit about the company. We've been in business almost 10 years, so we're not new to the scene. We go to events all the time. We'll be doing an event in Santa Clara here in June 5th and 6th. Again, if you follow us on LinkedIn, you will see those posts and some cool pictures and our interactions and things like that. But we have over 10,000 developer accounts. We are in over 120 different countries, and we have over 500 device types. Another thing, speaking of device types, I'm asked this all the time. Well, a sensor that I'm looking at is not on your platform. What can I do? Well, you can build your own connector on Tago. Again, Tago was designed for customization and scalability. So there's lots of different things that you can do on Tago by yourself and really get a grasp on it. Well, let's talk about the templates. I believe Tiago is going to talk about this as well. But basically, these templates, we have a lot of different templates and we're adding to them all the time. So when you think of the template, you don't need to put together all your different widgets and build a dashboard from scratch. You could certainly do that. But with the templates, you already have a pre-built dashboard. And once you download it to your profile, you own it. So you can, move widgets around, change colors, add widgets, whatever you want to do. You own the dashboard. It is now in your TagoIO developer account. So they're very powerful, and I got to tell you, they're extremely popular. So check out the templates. That's a big one. Now, when we talk about how does the data flow from the sensors, right? If you look at this slide here, on the left, we have our sensors, whether that's tracking, a piece of equipment or, temperature, humidity, whatever that is. And then you have your gateway, and then you have your connectivity, right? You see Sigfox there, Senate, EveryNet, MQTT, cellular. So you connect there, and then basically when that data comes into Tago, if you look at the phone image, you'll see TagoIO at the top and Run at the bottom. TagoIO at the top, what that represents is your TagoIO developer account, where the data is coming into Tago and it is interacting with your dashboard in any ways that you have set it up. Again, totally customizable. And then on the far top right, you see Enterprise, you see SAP, Jira, Weather Channel. A good example for Jira, if I just got back from an industrial conference, and people were fascinated with this. If you have, let's say the vibration is too high on a machine, and Tago, you could shut it down through Tago, shut that machine down. Well, a Jira, which is a bug tracking system for defects, right? Or really to bring awareness, somebody needs to take action. You can integrate Tago with Jira, and then that'll send that right off. And through the configuration and analysis, the required party will receive that Jira ticket, if you will. That's just one example. We integrate with all kinds of different things. Payment systems. I've been here almost 4 years. I've seen it all. And then you have where I said the developers. That's where you're going to develop. But let's talk about Tago Run quickly. Tago Run, whenever you hear Tago Run, you read about Tago Run when you're on our website, we're talking about the end user experience, right? Of what you're giving your customer to interact with your dashboard and take action. Again, actionable data, right? So that's really the flow. It's really simple. And by the way, let's just talk about Senate or EveryNet. Just choose one, right? It's a one-time handshake. So if you have 50 sensors, 100 sensors, 1,000 sensors speaking to your connectivity provider, in this case, EveryNet or Senate or whoever it is, right? It's a one-time handshake between that connectivity provider and TagoIO, and then you're done. You never have to do it again unless you change your connectivity provider. But again, it's just a simple handshake. A couple clicks and you're done. Very simple. Custom reports. This is another hot topic. Some companies don't even look at the dashboard. Some people, some stakeholders in the companies, they just want to report, right, of what's happened in the last 24 hours, 48, whatever that is, whatever your standard is. And you can have, they're very customizable. PDFs, CSV, you could have your logo, an image, fully customizable. You can email it to end user, whether that's in real time or on schedule. Your company logo, and there's multiple settings that you can do there. So the reports are very, very effective, and they're heavily used throughout Tago with most of the customers that I speak to, almost all the customers I speak to, honestly. And custom analytics. So I am a data-driven guy, right? Data tells a story, right? And with our custom analytics, you can really extend your application beyond just the visualization, right? What are the analytics you're interested in? It's supply chain. It's, how many packages did I have go out? How many were delivered? How many were rejected? Whatever those analytics are, you could look at a historical data, whatever that is. But very, very popular as well with the analytics that we have. And if we talk about the free mobile app, yeah, you could download our app at any time, and you could have your Tago Run URL. You can have your domain. Now, we're not even talking white label yet. You can have, you can change part of the Tago Run URL to be your domain. You could have your logo. All that's part of the free application, right? And then, of course, lots of my customers use white label, right, to where you just remove all instances of Tago. So again, very popular there as well. But you can download that app from any of the stores at any time for free. And then if we talk about, this is the app. So this is kind of what I was referring to on the last slide. So on the far left, you'll see just the simple app, right? And then on the image in the middle, you create a cool background. In this case, it's a water image. It can be a video, it could be anything. And then at the top, you can have your logo, right? And then on the far right is where now your end user, your customers are now logged into your Tago Run app, and they can visualize whatever dashboard you've associated with Tago Run. So there's a lot more information there. Again, I highly stress, please ask for a demo. We can go into this stuff in details and the things that Tiago is going to talk about as well. And with that, I will pass it off to Tiago to start talking about the really cool stuff. So, good. Hi, Tiago. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiago. I'm a customer success manager also here at TagoIO. And I want to complement what David mentioned in regards to now, when we have all this in mind, when can we start thinking and putting these pieces together into building a valuable solution, right? So I wanted to start in this pickup point, which is the Kickstarter app. So today, Kickstarter, TagoIO customers, they are able to import the Kickstarter directly into their account. And the Kickstarter is something that is plug and play. So it's something that is ready to go with user management included, organization management, sensor, alert management, basic reports, and entities in which you can create hierarchies and set permissions inside the application. All that ready to go. And I also wanted to talk about where you can go from the Kickstarter, being this start point in which you can measure simple things at the beginning, but can be a very elegant and robust solution that can be white labeled in the future, being deployable in App Store and also Google Play. While I'm presenting, I'm going to be sharing some information for you guys here on the chat, but I just want to say this, and I didn't mention this to anyone yet. So if you are live here, you might be a lucky person. So we're going to offer a 30-day trial for those who follow us on LinkedIn using the link that is on the header of the chat and complete the simulator process that I'm going to display here today on this live practice for you guys. So again, I have not told this to anybody. And the first person that do this process, follow us on LinkedIn, complete any one of the simulators that we have on the free account, send that to me on the email, my email that I'm going to post here on the chat. At the end of my presentation is going to be the lucky winner of this trial. And this is not a free account. This is going to be a starter account with some resources for you to start adding your devices and start building your solution based on the templates. So stay tuned for the next steps as we go. Explaining a little bit more about the Kickstarter itself. So let's go over some of the benefits, right? As I mentioned, full application, ready for the jump. You can integrate your sensors to this application. Already has critical features such as the user management that I mentioned, sensor management, scan the sensor through the QR code, plugs into the application, expandable, scalable. You can grow in many different verticals, and as I'm going to show on my following slide, you can adapt your connectors to the Kickstarter, which can make it real nice. You can have different ramifications of data. If you have a leak detector, pulls out a leak dashboard. If you have a temperature and humidity sensor, pulls down a temperature and humidity sensor. You can automate it like that. You can have a multi-tenant application using one instance if you have the mindset. All the support, everything can be found through our GitHub. And I'm going to be dropping the Kickstarter webpage from the website right here on the chat for you to capture it and learn more about the Kickstarter. But don't look at now because I got some good stuff coming up. So this is the structure that we have today: sensor and network support. So that is our first step. We'll do that on the Kickstarter, and from there we're going to work on the top layer, which are the modules that are included with it. And that, as I mentioned, is organization management, plan management, device management, and grouping. So management up to 3 levels. So what that means that I can have administrator for the top of my organization, the head guy on my customer side. Below him, it's going to be, for example, let's say it's one of the locations of this customer. It's going to be a manager. And at the end point, there's going to be the final user. So let's figure 3 levels in this particular observation. Alert managers, so alerts can be set for different thresholds based on the variables that we are receiving. So if we are receiving temperature, if we are receiving battery, location, or velocity, so accelerometer, you can build alerts on any of those variables. You can create logics that would create a third variable, which is the result of a certain calculation, for example, an average, and trigger an alert by that average that you're creating using the analysis module, and that can be fairly helpful. Map and image marker support. So that means that you can upload floor plans if you're working in, for example, warehouse and logistics. You can pinpoint your devices there and track it in real time. And the PDF report plus the scheduler. So you don't have to push the button every time to get a PDF. You can automate that for a particular sensor or a group of sensor or an organization. And we have expanded the Kickstarter to different levels here. So we have water leak, panic button, freezer monitoring, tracking, which is the one that I'm going to be showing today, water meter, and energy metering. So when you have configured one of these verticals that make more sense for you, you can then white label the entire application and deploy it on App Store and Google Play. So this is the RTLS, and this is really hot right now because we are just releasing it in the next week or two. So everyone that's here is getting this at first hand. So from the general Kickstarter, we have thought about, why don't we give it as an example, what can we do with the Kickstarter? Let's build an RTLS. It's an indoor and outdoor tracking application for asset trackers, for beacons, that is also ready to go. It's going to be plug and play just like the Kickstarter. The only thing that we will have to do, we'll have to switch the sensor to your own and make that happen. The logic is there. You can create custom geofences to understand when a certain equipment has arrived the warehouse or left the warehouse, as we see now on this slide. I've been tracking 3 pallets in this application. I see that 2 of them are outdoor, but they were previously indoor. They go through the process of coming this way, entering the warehouse, and then leaving the warehouse on the other side. So the green is the entering zone. The pallet arrives there. I receive an alert and goes around the warehouse into the purple zone, which is the departure, right? So from this, I can get many different analytics. I can understand how long has my product been sitting in the warehouse, what was the traffic there, so I can keep my warehouse always rotating products and not having too many products accumulating there. And once they stepped out of the warehouse and start getting, for example, LoRaWAN or GPS 3G signals for that truck, for example, it shifts to the outdoor, and I start to track that package in an outdoor manner. So this is just a simple example of what you'll be able to do from the jump using the Kickstarter app. So now, moving to the live practice, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of resources here so you can start with. So I've shared the Kickstarter there. And before I do the simulation, I wanna emphasize that everything that we do, you can also do. So this is our mission, is to inspire our customers. So I'm gonna be copying here the link to the Learning Center. There's 24 hours of courses there, basic to advanced. There's no way that you can complete these courses and not be able to do the simulator as I'm gonna do now. And don't believe in me, but I have here a guided tour that can, in a simple manner, show you guys how to do this process, apply this process in practice, from adding a device to setting the permissions to deploying. So I'm passing the link here to the guided tours as a shortcut. You can save these links. Don't watch it now though, because I'm gonna start the live practice in just 1 second. So now I'm gonna share my screen and we can get started. So let's start from our simulator. So I have done here a first simulator that we have, which is the refrigerator truck module. I've added it about an hour ago. It's already sending data, filling in my dashboards with some of the information here. But let's try another one together. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna add a device and go to simulator. So now let's pick one of the simulators for us to edit. As I already added one for logistics, I'm gonna add one for industrial. So I'm gonna type here, extrusion machine. I'm gonna set a quick period of maybe 4 weeks for me to retain my data, and I'm gonna create my device. So when you go through the simulator, the prompt is gonna offer you the dashboard. So you scroll down a little bit, click here to get the dashboard template. So now I'm gonna install the template. I'm gonna get my extrusion device that I just created, and I'm gonna confirm associations. So now, while the device refreshes the data for me, let's set some permissions so I can visualize that on my TagoIO run, right? So for my fortune, I have already imported the Kickstarter, and I have already configured and customized some of the bits. What I want to do now is below the truck fleet, this dashboard that I added previously, I want to add another one for our industrial right here, which is the one that we created. So let's go back to my industrial dashboard. And I'm going to go here to run. I'm going to go to sidebar. And I need to add a new dashboard line here. So I'm going to do here industrial dashboard. I'm going to put here like maybe industry. Let me see, maybe building, like that. I'm gonna try to match in the same color so it looks nice. And I'm gonna open this dashboard, industrial automation. Now, as I already have set my permissions under my users as an administrator, I'm just gonna create this visibility condition here. So when I open my run, my dashboard actually shows there. So I'm gonna hit confirm and I'm gonna save it. So now let me go back to my dashboard, and it looks like it's already populated with data. So I have here my extrusion machine heat map, the 3 zones that are hot. I have my PSI, some other temperature zones, extrusion speed. So looks good. So let me go to my portal now. And I have here my industrial dashboard. So as my permissions are set, it was fairly easy to import my dashboard to visualization. Now, if I wanted to add another user to access this dashboard, I would create a user here, add his email, and would add a permission for him. Could be the same one as mine for him to see it, or I could just do like access guest. And on my policy, I would just change or duplicate that to access guests will only see this dashboard in particular. So if I were to log in that case, I would only see my dashboard. So from this, we can comprehend that we are able to create rules that allow us to build smart and sophisticated multi-tenant applications inside your TagoIO account. And there are a lot of resources out there on our community, on our knowledge base, that can reinforce some of this. So I'm done with my live practice. I would like to ask if anyone has any questions, remembering that if you follow us on LinkedIn and you complete this dashboard simulation on the free account, send to me on my email, you're gonna be the lucky winner of a 30-day trial where you can actually do the simulations, add your real sensors, create the actions, alerts, analysis, add users, build whatever you want inside your application and start your project. So I'm gonna be leaving my email right here at the chat for that particular announcement. And I'm also gonna be leaving our demo request links, which I'm gonna share in a bit. This is, if you feel interested in learning more about Tago, having a personal connection with me or with David so we can understand more about your use case, what are the technologies that we're using, that would be amazing because we've been in contact with the newest technologies that are out there. We talk to customers every day. We might have when we will be very resourceful to your project towards the next steps and understanding where you need to be and how can we help, right? And send some resources on our side to boost your development per se. So I'm gonna give a couple minutes for Q&A and we'll go from there. All right, so I see one question here. What is that? What if I have 1,000 devices? How can I manage the traffic? I think that'll be more like the processing, right? How would I manage the process for all devices? That's a good point. So in terms of scalability, we are right there with you, right? So we have released, I think it was last year, a feature called Control Tower add-on. So imagine being able to control the flow of your devices, limit the request, either input requests or outbound requests from the device. That means if you have thousands of devices on the field and one of them go wrong and start sending data, relentlessly, you are able now to limit all your devices, either all of them at once through your profile settings, or you can do that individually and then capture these statistics on your account generally, your rate limits, what is your processing time, if your application is optimal as it should be. So yeah, in terms of scalability, we're right there with you guys. So we have another question from Alex. If I have several customers, would it be better to create multiple profile or create multiple access to the same profile? That's a great question. You can create a multi-tenant application under one profile. But let's say one of your customers are like, okay, but now I want my own white label. I want to have my own mobile app. You can still manage his account for him under his custom profile, so you can enable these ads on. But if the customers reside inside your profile, if they don't mind using your company white label, you can have a multi-tenant application in one profile, right? Basically, imagine if you have the same use case. Imagine if you have a use case for water, for condominium. So if you have a condominium with 300 people, 300 houses, let's put it that way, you can have all that inside one application, one profile. You just manage multiple access to get there. I hope that helped, Alex. All right. Looks like I don't have any other questions on my side. So I would like to thank everyone for joining the webinar and staying there with us. More to come for sure. Looking forward to receiving that email with the simulator and see who's going to be the great winner of this trial pack. And I'm looking forward to hear from you all. Thanks everyone for joining. Bye-bye.